Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel for everything Arsenal and everything football. Thanks for being here. I hope you're all doing well. And welcome to the match build-up and opposition preview for Arsenal against Chelsea. I have a special guest with me. Special but annoying, but he's a really cool guy. Lewis, how are you from Blues Fan TV?
I'm good, man. How have you been, bro?
Personal wise, okay, but in terms of football and sports, I'm just not enjoying it. But I'm hoping this is the game we can turn it around. Arsenal versus Chelsea. This is a game we always seem to like play you guys like at least like 4 times every year. There's been a League Cup semi-final, there's been a couple of FA Cup finals, Community Shield, a couple of them, Europa League, obviously, some friendlies in China. So it's always an interesting game. And this time round, I'm sure you're pretty confident.
Yeah, I definitely should be confident. If anything, it's got to a point where a lot of Chelsea fans are worried about this game based on how easy of a win it should be. Mainly because if we drop the points in this sort of match, especially with all the rivalry around it, possibly be one of the most embarrassing moments of the last 10 years. But same way, that is also part of the confidence that we got to have as well.
Yeah, I agree. But before we get into that, let's take a look at the actual results this season. I'll have them scrolling down the bottom right now. So you've played, is it 14 games? So from those 14 games, from those results at the bottom right now, I'll ask you a couple of questions from those. So what has been your best result so far this season from those?
Mate, 4-1 Sheffield United, maybe probably the 3-1 against Leeds because we switched it from the 4-2-3-1 to the 4-3-3, and it was going really well, but we hadn't really been tested. We've been playing a lot of teams that drop deep against us. We hadn't really faced anyone that presses us and actually tries to give us a game. And Leeds gave us a massive fight for 90 minutes, and Chelsea passed the test with flying colours as well. I think we're the first team to ever outrun Leeds in the Premier League this season, and we outran them by 6 kilometers, which meant we just played them off the park at their own game. And yeah, we did fall back at the start, but I've been wanting to see that as well, to see the response, and the response was excellent from the team. So it felt like a bit of a coming of age. I mean, the 2 results after that with Everton and Wolves kind of was like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But the same way, it showed that it can work against all sorts of teams. And the one thing I was looking at with that formation was, okay, it's going to be a one-trick pony thing where we can do it against teams that drop deep against us, or is it going to be something that we could use against all opponents? Now it looks like something we could use against all opponents.
Yeah, so that was actually interesting. I heard that after that game that you trained them, I was like, wow, that's literally the only way you can defeat them. Obviously, United tore them apart the other day, but that is just quality. So that was your best result. Was it also your best performance, or you have another best performance from those?
I guess the 4-0 against Crystal Palace should probably be up there, but there's also 2 penalties involved in that. Yeah, you know what? It probably is the Leeds game. The more I'm seeing everything scroll down, it's Leeds.
Yeah, and so let's go to the negative part. What has been your worst performance and worst result so far?
Maybe the Wolves game. The Wolves game was especially bad. Sorry about that. Well, that one was more game management that was the problem, because we had that game won well with the Giroud goal. We should have just dropped deep from there and tried to protect the lead, but we didn't do that. We overcommitted too much and we conceded 2 easy, well, I say easy goals, but 2 goals that were avoidable. At the very least, the second one was. Your 2-0 loss to Liverpool, heavy cap attacks on that. I don't really care too much. What was the other one? The Everton game as well.
Everton,
Damning penalty. We had no wingers in that game. It was kind of, it's one of those results that's like, it's annoying, but you can't really do too much about it. So yeah, I would probably go for the Wolves game.
So Wolves game for you. Okay, I think I probably would say, because Everton, they literally beat Leicester a couple of days later and beat Arsenal a couple of days later after that. So they're on good form at that time. And let's take a look at your upcoming fixtures. I'll put it on screen right now. So those next 5 games, how many points are you expecting from those possible 15?
Tricky 5 games.
Because they're coming very thick and fast. Like 3 of those are in the next 7 days.
Yeah, I just realized that. Arsenal, that should be a win. Villa, should be a win. Yeah, it still should be a win. Manchester City at home, that might be a draw or something. I don't know. That'll be an interesting game. It could really go either way. Fulham, not even going to bother. Leicester City should be, no, that'll be a really tough game. We held them for 2-2 last season, and Leicester is definitely going to be a tough one as well. But yeah, that is a tough run of games. I'm glad we got the Fulham game in between. The Arsenal game is going to be one of those ones where we're going to try and kill the game off early. I don't think it's going to be a sort of game where we pam you 4 or 5-0 because I don't think Lampard's going to let us play that sort of expansive football. He's going to he's going to say, go out there, kill the game. As soon as I can do that, we're going to play pragmatic football and just see the game out. And that'll be what's best for both sides.
So you're saying 4 wins, 1 loss, or 3 wins, 2 draws? How many are you expecting there?
Oh,
out of 15.
3 wins.
Yeah.
Potentially 4, and the rest are draws.
So those potential draws and losses are away to Leicester, I'm assuming?
Away to Leicester and Man City. The other 3 we should see off.
Would you be surprised if, let's say, you drew with Aston Villa and beat Leicester?
No. I mean, I'm taking everything that happens this season with a pinch of salt because of how mad this season is. But just like we say, that Villa could cause us problems, just like Leicester City could. Any of those teams really could. I'd say Fulham might have issues without Ruben Loftus-Cheek, but they're barely even playing him this season, to be honest. So, but with Fulham, golfing class is there anyway. We should smack them up. I'd be really surprised if they get a win against us. They haven't won against us in the league since 2006. So that one should really be 3 points.
Awesome. So those are your results and your upcoming fixtures. And then just want to ask you about a couple of players. The first players are Giroud and Abraham. Which one do you prefer between the two of them? Because you've seen them rotate, a lot of times. So personally, which one do you prefer?
As a player, I prefer Olivier Giroud because he's just got the experience as well. And I can't there's something about Giroud. And I feel like as an Arsenal fan, you probably understand that as well. There's just something about the way he plays. It's just so beautiful to watch. You just can't help but enjoy and appreciate his style of play. So I would say Olivier Giroud, but same way I will give Tammy Abraham credit. He is still a bit of a work in progress, but he's also a very, very prospectful young talent. 18 goals for us in his first season for Chelsea. Well, first season leading Chelsea's line last season. This season, he's definitely been learning from Olivier Giroud. He's become a much better target man. He does still need to improve aerially. I think he's getting a bit better with the ball underneath his feet, but he still has those little fallbacks and relapses where he just looks like an absolute donkey sometimes. So that's just when he's in bad form. You know, them sorts of players that they look amazing when they're good, but when they look bad, they are bad. That's Tammy Abraham.
Yeah, there's one of those players that people have been talking about, and it's Timo Werner. He doesn't seem to be converting all his chances.
Yeah, here's the thing, because I already knew that was going to be a thing with Timo Werner, with him coming in anyway. At Leipzig, he was a very high volume striker. He had a lot of chances. It wasn't to say that he took a lot of those chances, but he took enough. This season in the Premier League, he is adapting to the fact that you will not be afforded the same amount of opportunities as you would do in the Bundesliga. And that's just an adaptation process for me. Second season, he's going to be 6. Same thing as I expect to see from Kai Havertz. But right now, Timo Werner hasn't looked that clinical. I do think it's had an impact on his confidence. I also think us playing him on the wings for most of the season is also having an impact on that as well, because the guy is first and foremost a striker. But it's not to say I think he's a flop or anything. Guy had the second most goal involvements in the whole of Europe last season. So he's definitely a quality player. It's just things aren't working right for him. The last game, who did play against West Ham, that entire game just screamed lack of confidence for me. The chance he took in the first half where he just passed it into the goalkeeper, again, him playing on the left-hand side, which I never want to see happen again. But when we moved him to the right-hand side, he was finding better chances. He was unlucky, hit the crossbar again. I think he's hit the crossbar more times than anyone else this season. And there's just things aren't clicking for him in the right places, but they will. He don't look like a flop. I've seen bad strikers in my time watching Chelsea. Timo Werner is not a bad striker.
Yeah, I remember there was a chance that he created, I think, the third goal against Leeds for Pulisic. That was a good one. I think one of
On
his
the
best
right hand side
performances,
as well.
yeah. Was it the Crystal Palace game that he got a double where he chipped the goalkeeper or something? I think it was Crystal Palace one of
Um,
4-0. There's a game he got a double.
nah,
That game, I think,
the Southampton game.
yeah, so yeah, 3-3. So that home game, I think he was very, very good in that one. So those games is some games has been pretty good, but a game like Leeds where he literally like missed in front of the post, that is like confidence and stuff. So also one more question. Who has been your top performer this season for you from the whole squad?
There's a couple names I do have to give honourable mentions to: Thiago Silva, Kurt Zuma, N'Golo Kante as well. Is there anybody else I'm missing? Nah. The guy who I really think's our player of the season, though, Reece James. Genuinely, in
Yeah.
my opinion, the best right back in the league this season. His form
Mm-hmm.
has been ridiculous, and we've been saying it as hype ever since his loan spell at Wigan 2 seasons ago, that he can be the best right back in the league. But the way this guy is going, the upward trajectory that he's taking, and the angle at how quick he's going, this guy
Yeah.
he's ridiculous, man. He's talking about a well-rounded right back, which is the one thing that right backs like Wan-Bissaka and Trent Alexander-Arnold don't have.
Yeah.
Alexander-Arnold is brilliant going forward, and no one's going to speak
Yeah.
ill of his abilities going forward. Same thing as we know how good Wan-Bissaka is on 1v1 defending and defensive
Yeah.
work and positioning in general. He's brilliant at it. You combine them
Mm-hmm.
both, then you have Reece James, and then you have the best right back in the league. He can genuinely
Yeah.
do them both.
Yeah, there was a time I was wondering why you let Lamptey go, but after the first game against Brighton, I saw he was very, very, pretty good.
Yeah, I can't. Lamptey
Reece
was
James,
fine.
yeah,
I had nothing against us getting rid of Tarek Lamptey. It was the best for all parties involved. Brighton got a
yeah,
really good prospect at a nice cheap price for them.
yeah,
With us, like, we already had two right backs anyway. It made no point keeping Lamptey and just wasting his developmental time. And the same thing for
yeah,
Lamptey. He wouldn't be this good of a player if he was still at Chelsea. And even with
yeah,
how good our academy is, you need game time first and foremost. He would just be on loan at
yeah,
somebody right now, but it would just be with the mind to sell him anyway.
yeah. So it's Arsenal against Chelsea this weekend, Lewis. How do you want Lampard to approach this game? Do you want him to go all guns blazing, or do you want him to like hold and get a narrow win?
Here's the thing. I want us to go all guns blazing. I want Chelsea to have the FA Cup final in the back of their heads. The same way I thought for the FA Cup final, you guys would all have Baku in the back of your heads because it was an
Yeah,
embarrassing defeat. Same thing with
yeah,
this one. I want it to be in the back of their heads. I'm hoping it pulls monumental performances out of a lot of players. But the same way what I expect to happen from Frank Lampard is we take the lead, maybe get a second goal, and sit deep. Like, not protect the lead, but protect our fitness. Because
yeah.
with the Villa game coming 2 days afterwards, we're not just going to go all out for 90 minutes. We play a very high pressure sort of system, but in recent weeks, we've been a bit more pragmatic to try and protect our players. So I expect the same sort of thing to happen in this match.
So here's something to make you smile. I was actually going through the recent history between the two teams, and since we moved to the Emirates, you're actually the only team that has beaten us more times than we've beaten you at the Emirates.
Yeah, I
You've beaten
remember seeing
us
that last
five,
year. I
yeah,
think Villa's 2nd
times.
now.
Yeah, I think they're second now. Yeah, we've beaten us 5 times. We've beaten you 4, and you've actually scored, I think, 16 goals, and you've scored 15. Obviously, that is obviously because of the likes of Drogba usually used to dominate us. That 2009, 2010, around there. But even recently, last season, you beat us and stuff like that. So, what lineup would you start for this game?
We'll go for the same 4-3-3. Mendy in goal. Back
Yeah,
forward. No, back forward would have to change because James and Chilwell are out injured.
yeah,
As Pilaqueta is going to go on the right, Emerson on the left, Thiago Silva, Kurt Zuma, Kante, Mount, and Kovacic as our midfielders.
yeah.
Pulisic on the left, Timo Werner on the right. Tammy Abraham up front. I would like to see Olivier Giroud play, but I do think because Tammy got 2 in his last game, he might end up being more favoured for this match.
Yeah. I'd be more scared of facing Giroud, to be fair with you, especially if Holding starts. Even the likes of Bamford dominated him in aerial balls. So if he starts and Jude starts, we're in big trouble. And it's not only that, Zuma and Thiago Silva have been brilliant in set pieces. Why do you think that is? Is it just because of the two of them, or is it because Mount's crosses have been pretty good and ZH too?
First thing I want to say is Willian doesn't take our corners anymore, so that's a big factor for it. Also, Anthony Barry, do have to shout out our new set piece coach because that's a huge reason for it. But yeah, like we have Thiago Silva was always going to be a great addition to us, especially aerially, but it's more Kurt Zuma. Kurt Zuma is an actual cheat code when it comes to set pieces defensively and offensively because his jump, he is the best jumper in the Premier League. And he was the best jumper in the league before that injury against United. And it's been a slow progression back to his best. And now we finally see him back on the same route that he was originally taking before he had that injury 5 years ago. Who else do we have that is a threat? Ben Chilwell's good in the air too. Yeah. Olivier Giroud, not Tammy Abraham, but we have a couple players that are a strong threat, and I think we scored the most goals off corners now. The West Ham game was something big as well because West Ham had never conceded from a corner this season, and we were the first one that did that to them. They were good in the air as well.
Yeah, and even if he doesn't play, Rudiger is always also a threat in the air. Like I remember his 2 goals against Leicester, I think a couple of seasons ago, something. So it's always a threat.
Same way. I hope he don't play, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Azpilicueta would be a good thing for us. We need to find a way to put someone strong on the left side because in the FA Cup final, I think Azpilicueta was also one of the reasons why we came back into the game. Although you guys believe it was Anthony Taylor, Azpilicueta kind of let us
you not exposed Azpilicueta, but I still back Azpilicueta. I don't think he's not bad in any shape, way, or form. It's just he's slow.
Yeah.
And you lot had what's his name, Aubameyang on the left hand side, so it was easy to expose that. That I can respect. Same way, Aubameyang and Martinelli are both out for this game, aren't they?
Martinelli's fit, thankfully. Aubameyang is out.
Is he fit?
Yeah, he's fit. Aubameyang is out.
He's fit.
I think he has to start, but I'm not sure if he's 100% because he risk it with Thomas Partey, but they said he's okay.
And it's just Arteta bringing another player back from injury too quick again.
I think we need him because as you said, Azpilicueta will be playing. If you have Saka and Martinelli there, that will probably be our best chance on that side. So
other than that, your front three is what? Lacazette, Willian, and Pepe.
Yeah, but I don't think Willian and Pepe. They could both of them be on the bench for this one if Saka and Martinelli are fit. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes for Saka, Martinelli, and Lacazette, or even goes defensively, 5 defenders, 3 midfielders, and just 2 up front. I wouldn't be surprised with that. So, who is your player to watch for this game?
From Chelsea?
From your team. Yeah, from Chelsea.
Maybe Mason Mount, because he's been really good for us this season, and no one really gives him enough credit. He's probably been our best number 8 since we switched to 4-3-3. Our press basically runs through him, creates a lot of chances each game, and his work rate is just ridiculous, especially next to N'Golo Kante as well. Our midfield is nearly impenetrable at times. But has to be Mason Mount for me.
And since Aubameyang isn't there, is there anyone you think you should take care of from Arsenal or watch out for? No one?
You said Martinelli's playing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess him. I mean, I'm still waiting for him to do something semi-decent in a game against Chelsea. I'm not counting that free sprint at Stamford Bridge as anything that semi-decent. It was a one-on-one against Kepa. In the same way, if he is any way as good as Arsenal fans had him up to be, he should be carrying you this game. Especially if you got Willian on the other side of the wings, because he's a fraud.
The other day he was playing with an injury and he's our best player against City. Just for 45 minutes, he was our best player. So I definitely think he could change the game for us on that left side since Azpilicueta is playing again. And then what is your prediction for the game?
I don't really see a pamming. Maybe like 2-0 Chelsea. Maybe a third. Maybe. But I don't think it's going to be anything massive.
No goals for Arsenal at all?
No, if Kepa was starting, maybe, but I don't see it. Like, you lot don't score a lot of goals this season, so I can't even put that down.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. And looking at your results, you started the season conceding 3 to West Brom, 3 to Southampton, and then all of a sudden you changed it and kept a clean sheet away to United, away to Burnley, against Tottenham, away to Newcastle. So your defense has definitely improved. And then last person we'll talk about is the manager's Frank Lampard. Are you happy with him? Have you been happy with him, or do you think he needs to do better? If Allegri was offered to Chelsea right now, would you replace him?
Definitely not right now. Lampard has had his questions, but I think Chelsea fans can be a lot more ruthless, and when things aren't going wrong, there are people that turn to managers like, "Yo, what's happening?" Like even with the position that we're at right now, Chelsea fans aren't completely satisfied. There are still a massive group of fans that want Frank Lampard out of the club and don't rate him as a manager because they don't think he's got what it takes to take us long term. He's been good to transition us, but they don't really see him as anything further than that. I think he deserves more of a chance. I think his first season is definitely a big example of that. He would have finished second if he didn't have Kepa in goal, and in my opinion, that is just fact because I've said about his save percentage, worst save percentage in Premier League history. We had the second least shots conceded in the whole league. So we did our job defensively. The goalkeeper didn't do his job. So I think he does deserve a chance. He does get questioned. I've questioned him multiple times this season, but Lampard answers those questions and we turn things around. So I can't complain too much about Frank.
And the last one, Arteta, what do you think the problem is? Is it Arteta or the players? Where do you stand as an opposition fan?
Here's the thing. It isn't just Mikel Arteta's fault. The players are an absolute mess. Your club's an absolute mess from top to bottom. If I'm just going to be honest about it. But the thing about that is, here's the thing. Arsenal fans have always said about Chelsea and Lampard that he has no experience. He got the job just based off his what he did as a player against Chelsea. Mikel Arteta has come into a club that is an absolute mess from top to bottom, with no experience of how to manage under problems, like even small problems compared to the issues that your club has. And he's being looked at as the guy to fix it up. Fact is, like, I don't think Arteta could succeed, mainly just because of the club he is at, the mess that Arsenal are in right now. There is no way a manager with that little experience can perfect Arsenal Football Club and turn it all around. So I don't get why you lot are persisting with it.
Yeah, do you think he'd do well like in a Leicester or Southampton?
I'd go even further down than that. Like he needs to start small again. Lampard, at least he went to Derby for a season, so he had a basic understanding. Like, I'm not going to say you had full experience coming into the Chelsea job, but the Chelsea job was a much smaller mess than the Arsenal job is right now. At the worst, we just had a transfer ban and Eden Hazard was gone. He just had to bleed in the youth. Mikel Arteta has to fix the club, and you can't fix the club unless you go from top to bottom and fix everything, and that's not happening.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Although I wouldn't sack him right now, I'd give him until January and see who he plays. Of course, or he buys. Of course, if he hadn't won the FA Cup, he would have been gone by now. That's what I'm assuming. But since he won something, they're giving him time to see what else he can do. So, yeah, that's it. But we have a big game on Boxing Day. Lewis, thank you for coming on. Where can they follow you?
Bro.
Where can they follow you?
Do you want me to outro or something?
Yeah, just where they can follow you on Twitter and YouTube or anything.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't hear that. Guys, Carefree Lewis G on YouTube, Blues Fans TV as well. Check me out on Twitter. It's the same same logo, same everything. And yeah, thanks for having me on, Glenn.
No problem, and thank you for coming on. So this is a game I'm not looking forward to. Clearly, Lewis is gone for 2 or 3 goals for Chelsea. I'm hoping for a 1-1 draw, like the way it was last season before Abraham scored 1-1, something like that. So thank you everyone for watching. Make sure you check out Carefree on his personal channel and on Blues Fan TV. Thank you for watching. Keep staying safe. I'll catch up with you guys later.